Hi everyone, welcome back to Sunny Isle. This footage was captured before the Bridges and Ports DLC, so some things in the game may look a little bit older than what they look like now. I was not going to post this as an episode, more as a members only video, but since I'm out of the office for a few weeks, I thought I'd share it with everyone. It's not a crazy big build, just something little where we concentrate on a little cozy corner, creating a special place for people to relax. We'll be back with bigger and better episodes after a few weeks of work and recovery. I hope you enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome back, and last time we were exploring the Netherlands region pack, which we placed down all over the map. We've got this little row home district here, which replaced a vanilla row home area, so not that much different. And I did also add this small little fishing pier with one of these custom boats by Harbour Master J. Just a little rib boat. I think that looks quite nice. This area still needs quite a lot of detail though, and I think today I'm going to go around the map similar to what we were working on last time and just see where the episode takes us. I really enjoyed the process of just finding gaps around the city and just creating something new. Not, nothing massive, nothing crazy big, not a mega project. There is a little corner down here which got left behind when we were expanding this bridge down into the Reuben area. We created this new school area. We've got this nice little shopping street as you come down, and it's surprisingly quite quiet at the moment. We usually get quite a lot of backups, but it is quite early in the morning, 2:40, so it's gonna get a little bit more crazy later, especially around this little intersection here. It's always a little bit wild, but we did end up leaving this little gap here, which isn't the most desirable thing to see when you've got a fully built out city. And I think this corner in itself always ends up having quite a lot of backups because you've got this asymmetric crossroads coming and going in different directions. We've got the one-way street here, which connects up to this main tram road going through the city. So you get quite a few people sometimes skipping that corner at the bottom, making a shortcut and heading up to the bridge that way. So I thought maybe we make something special out of this area and make it a little bit safer as well. We'll pop down a little roundabout, I think. Let's go for one with a tree. Now we are going to lose some buildings, unfortunately. So I wonder if we were to select this building using the picker tool, and if we just place it down as an actual plops building, we should be able to save it. Now, is it locked? It is, yeah. And did it destroy the other one? I'm not too sure. Do we have a load of people stood out front? We do. Okay, yeah. So that's replaced the one that we had before. That park is probably going to have to go as well. But let's just get this roundabout in and see what we're working with. Now, it isn't happy. We'll just see what we get. And we'll have to turn anarchy on for this. Okay, so we do have a bunch of buildings that are not too happy. So I'll pause the game. I'm going to go ahead and just dezone these little lots so that we know what we're working with. And I've just accidentally dezoned a building down here. Let's just remove these for now, and we're probably going to remove some of the other buildings around here because I think it'd be nice to put in a signature building here on the corner. Now I'm not sure if I've unlocked it. Let's have a quick look. So it would be in mixed residential, or maybe it's just in commercial. This one here. So yes, we've got it unlocked. Great. So this is the steakhouse, and I think this will look perfect on that corner there. Now let's turn off the snap in. Let's turn off anarchy, And let's see if we can get a nice spot right there, I think. Yeah, that looks nice. And we've even got an extended patio area where we can add a few extra seats. This road here, I think we can simply just upgrade it with a regular road so that we get some nice separate footpaths alongside the road. And we've just lost that building. Anyway, I think that one will be fine there. Quite like the look of that one. It kind of breaks up the monotony of that block a little bit. Kind of looks similar to that big signature one that we've got here. So we'll keep that for now. And since it's a level 1, it will slowly upgrade over time. On this corner here, I don't think this low density residential is that well placed anymore. I can imagine that the rent here would be crazy. So the household wealth there is poor. Now it doesn't tell me the rent on these, not without the extended tooltips mod, but I've never really found the need to download that mod. So we'll just go ahead and remove these, and I think I'm just going to replace them with some of these NL assets. I quite like the look of those. Could replace this one as well. See what we get. We get a nice corner NL asset. That's quite interesting. I like that. And we're already starting to create a super little cozy area. I love it. Let's delete that tree. That tree can stay. I think that's in a pretty good spot. Now at the back here, we do have balconies on these assets, and I'm kind of giving you a walkthrough of my mindset when I'm constructing or creating these areas. It's not wide enough for a car park or a plopped car park, I don't think. I think our most narrow car park is 3 tiles, and even these longer ones are still 3 tiles. We do have parking roads, so these do come a little bit smaller if you use the alleyway parking. But if you want it to be 2-way, so that people can drive back out, again, the minimum is 3 tiles. Otherwise, you have to use the 1-way streets, and then would have to find another entrance or exit somewhere around here, which I don't think is a bad idea, to be honest. Like, these are both minor roads, and we could do with having another entrance or exit to break up this block a little bit, and it could also provide some extra car parking spaces near those flats there where they're going to be quite a lot of people living there. Okay, super simple car park at the back there. We got this alleyway that kind of runs through here. I quite like that, and that gives people an option to skip the roundabout if they want to, if they want to make a U-turn and head back down to the main road at the bottom there. But what this does is it opens up a little bit of zonable land here. Now we've got so many different options of assets. It's hard to figure out what we want to put here. So we do have a 2x3 lot. So we could go into find it, and we could open up the find it. We could go to the buildings tab. We could turn on the filter, and then we can change the lot depth. But that is the process of plopping, and you are spending time in a modded window when you could use mods in the zoning window to create something that would fit in the space. So I've got a mod that tells me the lot sizes, and I can come through here and I can see if certain asset types or certain zoning types has a building that would fit that space. So we can see here this has a 2x3 building that could fit. However, I do think we've got some German buildings nearby already, so let's have a quick look at the NL asset. Now I think it's at the beginning here, so this one only comes as a 3x2, so that's probably going to zone sideways if we have a look at that, or it's just going to give us a 2x2. Yeah, so I'm not really a fan of that, so we'll replace that with something else. And don't worry, nobody would have moved into it yet. They would have to travel halfway across the map to be able to get into it yet. Let's have a look. We've got a Mediterranean heritage, so this comes as a 2x2. Again, it doesn't go deep enough, so I can see the NL medium density housing does actually have a 2x3, And if we don't get the desired building that we want, we can just simply demolish it until the right asset turns up. And when all else fails, you can simply just go to find it and find the building that you want. Let's just pop one of these down and see what it looks like. Okay, so that was more of a struggle than necessary. I do apologize for the extremely annoying content up to that point, but I think the desired outcome is pretty interesting. We get quite a large wall at the side here, which I'm not completely against, because you can always add extra decals and features. And I think if we were to decorate this area, we pick some of the little seats off this asset, bring this over, we can create a nice little dining area for people to hang out in. And I think this will be quite an interesting place to hang out. And I'm going to put a little fence around it so that it's separate from the footpath and has a little bit of privacy. I like this brick wall. I think this is quite nice. We just turn off some of this snapping to make it a bit easier to handle. And I'm just going to bring that out. And because this is within the area of the building, there's no one going to be walking through it, fortunately. And I'm going to wrap it all the way over there. Yeah, that's quite nice. And we can even decorate it with a few little potted plants. I think that might be quite nice. Just put something there, maybe a little small one on the side. And we need to get some parasols, I think, for sure. So let's go into the residential props menu and find something. I think it's quite deep in here, isn't it? Yeah. Or maybe it's not in here at all. Have I just completely overlooked it? Nope, here we go. Here they are. And there we go, super simple detailing. Added a few of cheek to goes, booty addict stickers on the wall here. Adds a lot of depth. We got a crazy tree that is just poking through that door, but I think that looks quite nice. And I think that is locked, but I am curious whether if we unlock it and it upgrades, will the wall on this side here stay in the same position? If not, those little posters and stickers are more than likely just going to disappear. But I think that corner is pretty interesting looking. I would say that it does need a little bit more tree or foliage, so we could put something on the corner here. We've got the palm tree, but I do think it could do with something a little bit leafier. The problem is you do end up covering your build, and with Cities Skylines you're always kind of looking from above and you don't necessarily want to hide everything. Some of these trees are humongous and we've just put all those details in, but we're almost covering it up. So I like to pick some trees that are kind of a little bit more slim, that you can kind of see through a little bit, and this one is quite good. Now if we were to kind of step back a little bit and try to figure out where a good spot that would be, I see we've got a little patch of grass that came with this asset here. So I think we could frame the end of the street by having that one there, and that looks quite nice. And we could have one in front of this building here, but I do think a lot of these are slightly too big, so we might need to maybe go for the linden. The linden's quite nice, so we could pop a few of these along the road here. And in fact, this could even be made more narrow, the street itself, since it's got street parking on at the moment. So we could just add some grass onto that, and then we could bring those trees over so they're not just poking out of the pavement, and it just looks a little bit nicer. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting. I'm not a big fan of this tree in the middle here. I wonder if we can remove it. So that removes the roundabout. Let's convert it to a sub element, and I'd like to put something maybe not too big, or maybe we should have something a little bit larger, but you end up covering that build. So again, like, it's all about balancing the aesthetic of your city with what you like, but also kind of balancing it with the realism of what it would be like in reality. And I think if you can find a happy middle ground, something like that is quite nice, I think. Okay, so for these other corners, I think we need to add a few more details. So a little bit of parking here, maybe just bushify this section, and then over here, this is more residential, so maybe just a few bollards just to keep people preventing from parking up and blocking someone's entranceway. But yeah, you can see the traffic has gone absolutely wild again in this area, and it's always a bottleneck. I'd rather people would just drive all the way around. I don't know why they choose that route. We have a look at Hillside Street. Let's go to toggle traffic routes. We can see there's a lot of people cutting through when I'd rather have them driving all the way around. So what we could do is we could experiment a little bit with policies, but we would have to create a new district area, and I'm not really keen on redrawing the lines that we've got at the moment. So what we could do instead is we could use Anarchy to create a traffic control area. Now, I'm not sure how well this works. I've not really experimented with it. I'm thinking maybe we just go halfway up the street and just go in between these blocks. Maybe we just go up to this school section. We'll come down. And that just kind of cuts off a few of these shortcuts that people might want to use. And it's a very kind of dense area, which has got a lot of people, not a lot of commercial buildings, not a lot of office in this area. You can see here, no offices, very few commercial businesses. So we don't really want people traveling through unless you live or are studying in the area. So let's rename this Calm Zone 1. Turn on heavy traffic ban, and let's turn on speed bumps so that it's even slower to come through. And yeah, like I said, the traffic is kind of eased up now. Let's go ahead and finish up these little areas at the sides here. Now here we go, isn't that just such a lovely little corner in our city? And it really didn't take that long just to put together, and I think it is worth taking advantage when you see a gap that had maybe been created accidentally when you were reworking an area, to just take some time and make it a little bit more unique to any other crossroad or gap that you've got in the city. And it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. We just borrowed some of these little seating assets from the main building itself. Looks like we've got a little bit of a fast food restaurant in here now. Who have we got? We got the steakhouse, but I'm not sure if it says what the business is. Company. Fries. Okay. Simple place for simple people, I guess. And then, yes, we've got a little bit of that Netherlands asset here. And as I said, this is unlocked, so I'm not sure whether it will retain those posters on the side, but it's all a part of the story, I guess. If that updates, maybe the new owners scrubbed them all off, and we've got a little bit of parking at the back here, a little bit of a shortcut, and as we head down here, we've got plenty of trees, lots of shade. So that little park that we had on the corner here has now just been replaced with a small little green oasis, somewhere for some of the urban wildlife to take refuge if they need to. And on the opposite side here, we've got this larger building now in its place. We do have a little bit of parking, which we managed to squeeze in. I did notice we got a gap there, which I think, again, just taking advantage of it, we could just put in a couple of bushes, you know. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. We've got some people walking through the bushes, which isn't ideal. Little flower bush. But I think that's quite nice, you know. And it just adds to the texture of the area. So because we replaced the children's playground, we needed to do something better in its place. So we've got this large playground here, this hilly playground, which has this cute little slide section at the back, which I think is incredible. Such a nice little asset, nice little detail. I did go ahead and remove that brightly colored decal, which you can do using the Better Bulldozer tool. Put in a load of trees. Again, we want to make this a comfortable space to hang out, so the trees are necessary. And the entrance is on this road here, which is underneath the traffic calming policy area. This side isn't the most desirable area over here. We've got all these commercial properties that have seen better days, a little bit of industry on the corner here. You know how I like to sneak in a little bit of industry every now and then. And yeah, I think it just suits the area really nicely. It complements this community garden that we got at the back here, kind of caps it off. We didn't have a children's playground, I don't think, in here. We've got the dog park at the end, but no children's playground. So it's nice having this over here, and I think that will serve this area quite nicely, especially given we've got a lot of families and a lot of schools in this area. Yeah, I really like that. I'm really happy with the way that looks. Okay, so I think there's a couple of things we could do to further enhance this area, because I do think it's in a pretty good spot, but we could add just a few smaller details to really bring it together. Now, have you noticed that most people appear to be walking on the road, and you can see where the cars actually drive is quite far away from the curb? So I'm wondering, is there a way to bring that curb closer to the edge of the road? And even this section seems a little bit redundant now. Let's see if we can upgrade that. I'd like the idea of maybe turning that into a pedestrian street, so vehicles can still drive on it if they need to come to one of these buildings, but they could just go around now. Ever since we put in that back alley, they could just go around if they need to. However, that doesn't change the way this roundabout looks, does it? No. So do we need to upgrade that road at all? Would that change the shape of it? It kind of gives us a preview, and it does change it slightly, but I don't see any difference, to be honest. Now, we could simply just delete the roundabout, and that could make everything more than likely a little bit smaller, a little bit better. And do you know what? That's probably what we'll do, because we just don't need that roundabout anymore. As nice as it was, I think we were over engineering it. We really were. So if we remove that tree, we got a little bit of a slalom in the road itself. I think that's the correct term. So it kind of moves over to one side. So it does kind of create an awkward road for people to drive down. They won't be speeding down this because they need to make sure that they're turning down the right lane. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. Okay, so yeah, we just need to remove that tree there, fix up some of those bollards, bring that surface out here, and then we should be really good. I think that looks lovely to me. Yeah. And we're not really getting that many vehicles driving down here, which is perfect. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And people seem to be walking in the right places now. Yes, of course, they'll walk on the edge of these alley roads, but I don't mind that. And I'm not going to go into too much detail and start adding surfaces everywhere. Otherwise we'll be here all year just working on one tiny section. Oh wait, is that what we're doing right now? Oh dear. But yeah, I do consider this area, I think, done. And it's quite nice to come back to this every now and then and seeing what it looks like, seeing if there's a little bit of life in the area, seeing what these buildings look like once they upgrade. I think that'd be quite interesting. Things are always changing in Cities Skylines 2, which is sometimes a pain, but it's also quite nice to see things evolve on its own over time. You don't have to touch absolutely everything, and I think this is absolutely splendid. Well, thank you for joining me on this little journey into the older version of the game while we're all enjoying the new Bridges and Ports update and everything that brings. I'll return with a new video showing everything that's going right and going wrong in Sunny Isle next time. As always, take care and goodbye.